Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Barely.
Oh, you tired?
I'm bringing that drowsiness.
Drowsy-sode. It's going to be, I feel like this is going to be a chill one then. It's going to be very laid back.
Whether you like it or not.
I tried to keep the energy up for the intro, but I guess we're just going to bring it way back down. Nah, dude. Today, we watched another Studio Ghibli film. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorites, may I add. I remember really enjoying this film, Castle in the Sky. It's so good. I remember liking it, but now having
this third or fourth watch of it,
yes,
cemented itself as a favorite for you.
Right. I really, really enjoyed so many aspects about watching this that we'll really get into in this episode. But before we really delve in, I have some things I want to talk about right off the top.
Yeah.
One of them being, if you guys are listening to this episode as the release date.
If you are hearing us with your ears right now.
On the day of this release, then later this afternoon, we're going to release the first playthrough of Metal Slug 1.
the long, possibly overpromised, maybe overhyped. I really hope people didn't get too much for this.
I think we set out to play through a little arcade game.
Right.
Ethan came in here last episode talking high praises about trying to get an under $2 run, and you will have to watch the video to see if he succeeds in that.
Right.
Dylan also kind of hopped in on that challenge as well and see how well they did.
It was more so that he forced me to partake.
I mean, it was still a fun challenge.
Yeah,
to see
I had
how.
A good time.
And so you guys will have to check that out. It's going to be on our YouTube channel later this afternoon, like I said, at the release of this episode. These episodes always release at on Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Time.
Right.
So obviously I kind of go by Central Time, so I apologize for those that are in
the outer sphere,
the other time zones around the world. But so again, but for anybody that's on, what is it called? The international dateline, when like the day changes.
Oh, I have no.
Whoever's on our side of the on the States side, Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
The video will be out on our YouTube channel. Go into YouTube, type in @Hindsight Studios. You can find all the podcasts there. You can find that video there. Will be probably front and center on the page.
We're giving you a little extra today.
Right. It's gonna be a little extra today
in case you want more of.
I know
this.
I love that I love that it's finished and that we're able to put it out today.
Yep.
Because we've been talking about it for so long.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like
the first nail.
Right. We've been talking about it potentially being done, it potentially being finished. We're going to do it. And now it's here.
Right.
So anybody that's listening to this, just tune in for later this afternoon. Or for anybody listening far in the future, it's going to be the first Metal Slug playthrough on our...
No back down will be witnessed here.
So that is what I wanted to get off just right off the bat, because anybody that's listening right at the top will know it's happening and it's going to be here. And I hope that you're excited because we've been, like you said, we've been hyping it up, and I think it is fun. I'm not going to say we're breaking new ground,
but we had fun.
And exactly, we did exactly what we set out to do. We played through an arcade game. We were idiots for about 30, 40 minutes or whatever, which is all we really can ask for.
Right. It's not much different from whenever we just play games normally.
Right. Exactly.
Honestly.
But we recorded it this time, and you guys could actually watch it.
Now there's performance anxiety.
I don't know about that. There are some things, because it's our first time, there are things I know I need to tighten up. I need to get figured out, but again, that's getting into the back. That's getting in the back end. That's in the weeds.
As soon as we get to Devil May Cry, dude, that's when the real performance anxiety is going to come in, because holy shit,
you got to do good.
I have to.
That's okay. We have you have two people here. I'm also assuming we're going to offload a lot of this weight on Ethan. I want Ethan to play through it,
right?
So that way, if he's bad, we just go, "Wow, you're so bad."
He's a crutch. Because we know he's like the fucking best, but we can say whatever we want because he'll just pull it out of his ass every time.
Right.
Ethan, if you're listening to this, stop.
Don't.
Anyway.
But anyways, like I said, with all that out the way, I just wanted to say that right off the top because I'm excited about it. I'm proud of it. I know we got some work to do. We're going to change up some things and make it happen. But for the first iteration of the product, Dylan and I both looked at it and we're like, you know what? We're happy.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That'll do.
And that's okay. And Ethan, I mean, at the time of the recording, Ethan was like, "Let's go on number 2. Let's keep going." And we're like,
he was fucking ready.
He was ready to go. And we're like, we got some other stuff. We got
we got time,
film,
bro.
but it's all good. But I love that. I love the energy. Love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, it
makes doing this so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a little something to talk about at the end. So stay tuned for the end for a little fun tidbit that I'm going to call out somebody specifically.
Oh, okay.
You know who you are. Anyways, we watched Castle in the Sky.
Yes.
A Studio Ghibli film from
Gib.
From 1986.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was that old.
Yep.
And boy, what a lovely movie this was.
It's so flippin' good, dude. The intro is one of my favorite parts. Because it's got this weird, almost like painterly, like storybook style to the art.
Yeah.
And it depicts like the rise of this super advanced like civilization who makes these giant ass airships that turn into continents, like just floating islands basically.
Right.
Reminded me of the the floating countries from G-Gun.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
Right. Through some catastrophe or another, they all end up like crashing to the ground, with the exception of like a scant few that are just derelict floating islands.
Yeah.
Which is the one that we focus on in this film.
The Castle in the Sky.
Yes, Laputa. I don't know about you, but I love old shit being rediscovered.
Oh, yeah.
With negative and or positive consonants to it.
Yeah.
Because
I love nature taking back over things.
Right.
It's a cool vibe.
The overgrowth.
Yeah.
I also really liked the mining town that Pazu lives in.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because it's got like buildings built into like the cliff face.
Yeah.
Which is already one of my favorite like looks for a town and or
motifs,
city.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's just like there's an entire city like built into these like cavernous, it's like canyon areas.
Right.
Now, the other part about this that I like a lot is whenever you go up top, like on top of these like mountains and cliffs, you see craters from what I can only assume were like from artillery shells or some shit.
Yeah. Or debris
from
falling.
Wars long past, yeah.
Yeah.
I just love these little hints to the past that they dot throughout.
I also love this is another film, along with many Studio Ghibli films, that has this kind of, again, talking about like motifs and things that are, consistent throughout his work. Is this like old world mixed with like kind of whimsical magic or new science and things like that. This came out in the 80s, but a lot of Studio Ghibli's stuff feels so like Industrial Revolution in some way, or either that or like 1950s Japan in a lot of ways, or like 1940s through 60s Japan.
Yeah.
Which I think is so cool because obviously that's kind of like that's where he comes from, you know. That's a lot of his background.
Grew up on the countryside,
of course, in that time frame. So like the fact that he kind of has these like whimsical stories from probably like a very nostalgic time for him makes a lot of sense. But like it just, I love it because it feels fantastical in a real way. Like a lot of it feels at least like historic, but like there's like magical things,
right? Little bits of technology that don't quite make sense but look like they might.
There's a lot of in
if
this
they were explained.
In this film specifically, there's a lot of aircrafts that are, again, like with many Studio Ghibli films.
Miyazaki's got a penchant for aircraft, dude.
It had they seem realistic in some aspects, but they also seem a little bit cartoony,
completely nonsensical,
right?
In
And
most ways, yeah.
and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And this film has a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
And
Like going back to the intro sequence, there were like 50 million designs on screen that I'm sure he penned himself at
100%.
some point or another.
Don't doubt it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess let's just start off at the top. There we follow this girl named Sheeta, who seems to be important,
Right.
and she is like kind of being held as like is held almost like a hostage, but like in the best way possible.
Right.
Like is like
A
treated
VIP,
well. Exactly.
very important prisoner.
Very important prisoner. There you go. That's a good way of putting it. And then there's these pirates that are trying to like infiltrate the ship that she's on to try and get her as well. And
The Dola clan.
exactly. And right off the bat, I'll say this. I didn't develop this thought until later in the film, but I'll say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love how many factions are vying for everything in this film.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it feels a little bit, I don't want to say chaotic. It feels a little bit like there's so many people. It's hard to kind of follow along, but very quickly you begin to understand who's who,
Right,
and who's fighting for what, and it lays it out in a very show don't tell kind of way. Well, they may tell a little bit, but like for the most part, like you can tell like what everyone's kind of vying for.
Yeah.
We're all going for the same thing here, but then as the movie progresses, you get to see like their backstory of like now how does that all tie in to their character as a whole,
right?
And I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think in the first few times I watched it, I don't think I appreciated it as much as I did this go around.
Yeah.
After watching it again, I was like, man, there's probably, if we factor in the two main protagonists, there's like four different like factions technically vying for power. That culminates in like a big reveal at the end, which is super cool.
Yeah,
and I love it. But yeah, this girl ends up escaping this flying ship that she's a prisoner on from the pirates and these kind of well-dressed goons.
Right.
I don't know what technically
they're
like
their best on.
They're the suits.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're technically part of the military, but they're like definitely the
more government-centric subset.
Right. There is like
the men in black.
The reason why we differentiate, because out of the potential 4 factions, there's the pirates, there's the main protagonists, Sheeta and Pazu. There is the actual military itself,
right,
and then there are the kind of the suits. And as she escapes the ship, she ends up falling down.
Right, escape was a strong word.
She was trying her best, and then eventually fell to what we all thought was her death. But then, of course, this magical amulet she has that she took back from the suits
activates the anti-splat procedures.
Yeah, the no-fall amulet.
Right,
amulet of feather fall.
Right,
and this is where we meet our second protagonist, Pazu, who ends up like
the little miner boy.
Yeah, I think he was what was in his little canteen he had? Was it like
2 meatballs?
Got it. He was gonna go deliver, I think, dinner to his boss.
Right.
And in the process, he ends up seeing this like light fall down from the heavens, and he's like, "Oh wow!" And he runs over there.
Holy shrimp! It's a guy.
As he like runs over there, obviously he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's a person!" And he gets on top of this scaffolding and catches her. In this, like, I mean, I must say this.
Yeah.
Throughout this entire film, I love their companionship.
It's wonderful.
It's so
the most adorable shit I have ever seen.
For me, it feels like the purest form of love. Like I mean, I know that like they're early teens, late children ages.
Right. Yeah.
But like it just has this kind of innocent, like they don't really have family. They have some people in their lives. They probably have.
Right. They have family adjacent
Mm-hmm.
people that they're close enough with.
But ever since this incident where Pazu ends up really helping Sheeta in that moment and like kind of taking her to his home and kind of like taking care of her after this situation where she falls out of the sky.
Right.
They just like they form this bond, and it's so lovely,
right?
Because it's wholesome, and you could tell they really care about each other. I would even throw out the word. I think that at a certain point in time they really love each other, which is interesting because I don't mean it in like a. I'm like the reason I'm prefacing all this is because I mean it in like the most wholesome and true love. That's like it's not in like not like a I was gonna say not like in a romantic way, and just like a I depend on you and I love you and I'm here for you and and your well-being is such a big priority.
Right.
And I
fight
love
through a crumbling castle for you.
Exactly. And it's like that's what I'm talking about. And that's I think that whole it stays consistent. Right. The only thing, in fact, it just strengthens as it goes along, and I love it. And it's so lovely to watch, and it's sweet, and it's like
super cute.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite bits is whenever Pazu asks if he can see the stone.
Yeah.
Puts it around his neck, and he's like, "Hey, watch this!" And he just jumps off of his fucking roof.
Yeah. Eats shit.
Right. And of course it doesn't work for him, so he just fell through the roof for nothing.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, okay, it wasn't the stone after all, I guess.
Yeah.
But after that the pirates start making an appearance.
Yeah.
Looking for Sheeta. Very quickly, by the way. Like they're jogging on the spot. Which makes sense after you see how fucking dogged Dola is in her pursuit of this stone.
Oh, yeah.
Like fiending for this rock, dude. It's ridiculous. But as they try to evade them, they end up getting caught in town after like two more of her sons had like headed them off, just asking the townsfolk where they might have seen her.
Yeah.
But as it happens, she just so happens to trip and lose the hat Pazu gave her as a disguise.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're like, oh, my God, it's her. Get her now.
Yeah.
But thankfully, miraculously, everybody in town is like, Pazu's my boy. Fuck off.
Well, it only takes like the kind of adoptive father figure.
Exactly.
Stands up. And, of course, the mom brings Pazu inside. And, of course, he's like, nah.
No.
The second my boy comes running up and he's like, "Hey, yo, there's pirates and they're trying to take this girl."
He's just like, "Say no more."
He's like, "You know what? Hey, I trust this boy, and this boy's taking care of this girl. I don't need nothing else."
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Most ride or die.
And boy, do I tell you what! What a guy!
Yeah,
strongest mustache. Got the cap on. He's just ready to go.
Oh yeah.
He's the overalls. He's the boss. He's the freaking foreman of the miner, the steam machine that brings the miners up. Hard-working individual. And before we continue, may I say, they established very early on that Pazu, even though he's, like I said, early teens, young childhood years, old childhood years, young teens is what I meant to say. Like in that age bracket, it's kind of ambiguous.
Right. Boy.
But I would imagine like he's 12 or 13 is what it feels like.
Yeah.
They established very early on he's a
real go-getter.
Child labor, it is
personified.
Child labor is labor in this world. And he puts in the work.
Oh, yeah.
And he is a hardworking individual.
Natural.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And a reoccurring theme in this film is be a man.
Right.
Stand up for yourself. Be a man.
Do what's right.
Pick up yourself by your bootstraps and get it done.
Right.
Be a man. and I love that. I mean, it's true. Like, come on, like stand up, do what you got to do. But the reason I'm saying that is like if that is this main character as like a young teen character,
right?
And imagine like the father figure in this. I mean, is a grizzled, hardworking man. And so when all these like gussied up pirates show up and they're just like, "Give me the kid," and he's like, no, ain't happening.
How about you get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, I love that. Like the pirate, like the bigger pirate with the beard, ends up like punching him in the gut, and like for a second, like he kind of sweats and goes.
Right, they goad him into a fight, and then they just trade blows one after the other, but not before showing off the guns.
And then,
a visual test of strength just to see the first dude, the pirate, like flexes so hard, his fucking suit busts open.
Just the buttons on his shirt bust open. And it shows his chest.
But the foreman, he flexes and his entire shirt explodes off of his body.
It literally just his shoulders and biceps rip open, and his chest gets exposed because of how much the shirt just really explodes underneath the sheer mass of his muscles. And
of course his wife behind him, frying pan at the ready in case shit goes south.
She had a straight up cast iron skillet.
Exactly. She's just like, who the fuck do you think is going to mend that shirt?
And may I say, if no big titty ginger mommy.
Oh my God.
Why live?
Right.
And
if you don't look like this, fuck off.
Bruh, she, like, from the first moment, like, she ends up grabbing Pazu and bringing both of them inside and is standing there, grabs the frying pan.
Immediately.
And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm not even one to be like that, but I was like, mama, yeah, dude.
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, dude, she's got it. Like, the thing is, like, we're in a mining village, and I was like, of all the people you'd expect, I was like, she got some shoulders on her too.
Everybody's tough.
She was tough. And I was like, I mean, I was joking, but I was like, but damn, I don't want to go up against her in a fight.
Without condemning nor condoning, I understand.
Thank you.
No, it's okay. I was talking all sorts of shit. Going on about Amalia earlier, dude. Holy shit! We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
But
there's another very, very strong woman that
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I got one good look at her when she grabbed the frying pan and crossed her arms, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. That woman, if given the option, she's gonna beat someone's ass with that frying pan.
Damn straight.
That's cast iron skillet. But she never had to. She just stood there menacingly. And I was like,
the threat.
That's all you
need.
The
threat alone.
The threat alone.
That's why the pirates didn't do anything else.
Yes. And I love it. It was great. It was very, very genuine, but we made it very comedic, and I love it.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. Anyways, they end up escaping.
They take a back door.
Right.
End up getting to the old railway system.
Yeah. And this is situation number 2, where Pazu's immediately put to work.
Right.
He's a young boy, and they both like. And I love the conductor.
Yeah, they stop him on the tracks, and then he's just like, "There's pirates after us," but not before he asks, "You playing hooky for a date?"
Yeah. And they're like, wait, and he's like, "Hurry up, hop on!"
Yeah, and he's like, "Pirates, hot dog, let's go!"
Yeah. And then this is
so excited.
This is the second iteration where we're not only child labor, but but also like everyone's so gung ho to just like do it.
Right.
In the town, obviously, a whole brawl ends up fighting between like all the like.
Right. It's like 3 of these pirates against the entire town.
Oh yeah. And they're so ready. They're so gassed up, dude.
Yeah.
They're like,
The way I described it was that everybody's super fucking frustrated. The miners especially, because they've been working like dead shifts for the past few weeks, getting nothing out of the mines.
Yeah.
So they obviously need some kind of outlet to just get all that anger out.
I forgot how I phrased it, but it made me laugh really hard. I think I said, I want you to throw a punch my way.
Do something.
Do something, please.
I'm begging you.
I'm ready to clock your ass. and again, so the second time for all that is he hops on there and is like, "There's pirates after us. We have to go." And before the conductor goes, "Hell yeah, let's go," he's like, "Quickly,
stoke the fire.
Stoke the fire. Get to work. And he's like, all right. So
just immediately
starts like shoveling coal in the
like, here
furnace.
we go. I've done this before.
And of course the guy's like, yes, this is amazing. He's like,
the most fun I've had in 50 years.
Give it more steam. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Get all gassed up as well, ready to go.
Yeah. Now, in steps the military.
Oh yeah.
They get a big ass tank train.
Wild.
With multiple cannons.
It's scary.
To stop them. And of course, they're like, oh my God, the day is saved. Thank God.
Yeah.
But as soon as we see one of the men in black step out, it's like, oh shit, we're fucking, it's so over, dude. We need to get the hell out of here.
That was what Sheeta did. She goes, goodbye, and runs away.
See you later.
And he's like, hey, yo, girl, wait. Hold on.
Right. But of course, he's able to catch on that these men aren't to be trusted, so he trips them on the tracks and just makes a break for it.
The conductor unleashes steam. And I was like, boy,
right.
Melt their faces.
One of them's about to shoot at these children. And he's just like, no, say goodbye to your face. Oh, man.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dola's hot on their heels.
Oh,
Still. Absolutely fiending for this fucking rock, like I said.
Yeah.
And she is, like, sparing no expense and or safety in these endeavors.
I mean, buck wild.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, being a pirate, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So, she flips the track switch and is, like, hot on their heels. Like, I'm, like, literally, like, right behind them for a while. But not before the tank opens fire and starts just destroying the tracks.
I mean, obliterating shit.
Falling apart, like, right behind them. But Pazu unfortunately makes the decision to grab Sheeta and just like dive off the edge, but not before grabbing one of the rails to hang on to.
Right.
Because I'm sure somewhere in the back of his mind he's like, that whole rock thing has to happen more than once, right?
It may not be the rock's fault, but she definitely floated down.
Right.
If I hang on to her, there's a good chance I'm gonna fly down.
Right. I'm counting on it.
Yeah, something magical is going to happen.
Right. So,
and he was not wrong.
Oh, yeah. It does happen again. Now, as to where they're going to be floating down to, we have no idea.
Right.
Just down an old shaft that looks to be endless.
I mean, just a bored out hole all the way down. You're like, okay.
Yeah, no, not somewhere I'd want to be.
No.
But upon landing, they're able to get a lantern lit, and they come upon Uncle Palm.
Yep.
An old miner who's hangs out in the caves, just roaming around. But,
he seemed like the crazy old man.
Right.
At first.
Because whenever he sees them, he's just like, oh, it's two little demons.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, same.
And then Pazu's like, oh, shit, it's Uncle Palm.
Hey,
this
Uncle
guy's
Palm.
great. Watch.
Yeah, hold on. At first, I was like, "Oh, you're done for."
Yeah,
the crazy old man who runs around the mines. No,
he's a dwarf.
Yeah, exactly.
He's turned into a dwarf now.
He looks like one too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they just hang out with him, hide out for a bit, wait for the heat to cool down. But during that, they find that the rocks, in Uncle Palm's words, are stirring.
Yeah. And he's like, I love being down here when the rocks are stirring.
It's the best time.
Same.
Like, sure, man. Whatever. You've been here longer than I have, sure.
Dude, I don't know what that means, but
I'm all for it.
I'm here for it. Yeah. You probably have a better idea of where we are than I do right now. And I'm not gonna question it.
Right. That didn't seem to upset you, so I'm all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just let me know if I need to be scared of these stirring rocks.
Yeah. Now, at one point, he does get scared.
Yeah.
Because whenever he starts that whole light show for him, describes why the rocks glow the way they do, he sees Sheeta pull out the stone and is like, what the fuck?
Hey,
where did you get that? It's a what he referred to as a volucite stone.
Yeah.
Which is something that whenever it comes into contact with open air, it just turns into nothing.
Yeah.
The way he describes it. So already he's like, how in the world
Like a concentrated crystal.
Right, my fucking grandpa was the one that told me about these things.
Yeah. And here you are just holding one.
Yeah. So he explains that how powerful the stone could be and that it may do good or bad depending on how it's used. So he just makes sure to drill it into their heads to like keep that thing secure and safe.
Yeah.
But after a while, they decide to find a way out. Uncle Palm being the surly guide that he is. But not before they are ambushed by the military and are taken into custody.
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 They're so... I don't even know how to put it into words right now. The overall story arc and all the beats and like I would call like chapters of this film flow so good together. Every little break, every little like next moving on to the next chapter is so seamless.
Yeah.
And like the whole storyboard for this film, it's so good.
It's a work of art.
It's hard for me to differentiate like the act 1, act 2, act 3. Like the standard plot of like build up and adventure and climax, you know, because it all feels so smooth, and I love that.
Yeah.
Mixed with these like beautiful visuals and like a stunning soundtrack of like the little like music motif that always comes in.
It's a given for any Studio Ghibli movie that it's gonna look amazing and sound amazing.
100%. And I love the kind of these interesting robot characters.
Oh, dude,
that we get introduced to.
The robot soldiers.
I
love those things.
Like the first one we see is all like dismantled and apparently fell from the Laputa? Is that
Laputa?
Laputa. It fell from that like a while ago, and of course
God knows when.
And it apparently is quote unquote long dead. And
right.
I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, bud. So anyways, and we get to like kind of see this interesting kind of beast of machinery, and it's so cool.
It absolutely just demolishes everything in its path.
Dude, and I love...
Because that's the thing, it's not even trying to like kill anybody actively, it's just trying to get out.
Yeah, it's trying to get to its destination, which is the queen, basically.
Right.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Sheeta is the queen.
Right.
We get that also, this little tidbit at this point in time.
One of the sole survivors of the royal line.
Exactly. And she's holding on to the kind of the amulet of kings, if you will.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, this kind of this crown jewel of the Laputa. That's kind of like the kind of
keystone.
Yeah, exactly, the keystone that kind of controls everything.
Yeah.
And in this moment of need, she like kind of recites these words that someone that kind of again kind of pseudo adopted family member in some way taught her. This kind of these words of help in a time of need, and she says it all of a sudden, just like this stone explodes. She's like, holy shit! Energy.
And then the bot, just wakes up,
and it's like, okay, here we are.
Yep.
And like Dylan said, we get again. It's just it's being confined. There are people, military officers that are in its way, and it's like, I need to get to the queen.
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah. You're in my way. Me. You are actively attacking me.
And clear the gangway, please.
I just clear the gangway. Yeah. And a few times they close these barriers, and I just said, your barriers cannot hold me.
It's like, nah.
And then he proceeds to, I love the idea of these like lasers that it has. It has these eyes.
One is big, the other is small.
Yes, on its face, and it shoots these lasers. And I love how it's not an immediate thing. Like it'll zap something, and then like it either will melt and explode or like explode shortly after. But I just love how it's just this like quick thing that then like
slowly erupts.
Exactly, the heat like catches up to it, which I think is so interesting. Like there's like this thermal runoff almost, where like he just like zaps this like
a beam weapon that's so fast that the explosions it causes don't even happen right away.
Right. He like cuts through this door, and the door like it shines, and like the cut is immediate, and like then it kind of bulges up with this like heat, and it glows red hot, and then like it explodes and melts, and it's like, oh shit,
that's fucking radical.
Yeah, dude, hell yeah. And then of course he's literally in the process of trying to get to the queen, he's like burning this whole fortress down from the inside out. They're trying to contain him. I'm like, nah, dude.
At first it's pretty tame, or at least comparatively to what he does next after he gets hit with an artillery shell.
Yeah.
Because it actually puts a dent in him, so he's like, okay.
All right.
Then he starts going berserk with the fucking big-ass laser.
Right.
Destroying turrets left and right.
I don't blame him. At that point, it's like, now there's a threat.
Right.
I was just trying to, suppress the stuff that was going on, and now I'm like, okay, it's attack mode now.
Yeah.
And then it starts kind of going a little bit haywire, and it gets awfully close to, like, leveling a village, like kind of in the farmland farther out from the place, and then Sheeta jumps on him. It's like, yo, bro, chill.
Right,
calm down. Please. So anyways, the amount of it is at this moment in the film that I had the realization that this movie has such great tension, and
it's perfect.
I can't say that for every, I think, Studio Ghibli film. I can't say that for a lot of films in general.
Right.
It has such great tension. Whether it be like someone dropping the crystal and then being like in turmoil, or obviously this big robot that we at the time don't really know if it's on her side, but we kind of feel like it's on her side because of the crystal and the same crest, and we kind of established that a little bit.
Right.
And it's like kind of going haywire, and it's like, and then, the whole situation where like they're trying to, he's trying to like, at this point in time in the film, Pazu has joined up with the pirates to like, and team up to help get Sheeta back.
Right.
And there's this moment where he tries to lean down. He's like, "Hey, lower me down a little bit more." And he's like hanging off, which again, another little side tangent. The amount of hanging off of things, is astronomical in this film.
Not only a hard worker, but an expert climber.
Oh,
hanger on,
just a free hanger.
Yeah,
wild. He ends up like hanging off this like what are they called in Dune? The ornithocopters,
right?
What are they called? They got like little flapping wings on the side.
Yeah.
Again, a very Studio Ghibli trope, I would say at this point, where they've got like a
almost insect-like.
It's the same
aircraft.
thing. They had a same sort of thing in Howl's Moving Castle. It's like this, almost like this platform that has like controls and stuff. And this one has like jets in the back that kind of let it shoot forward.
Right.
But they have four wings that kind of do like a dragonfly flutter, and in the process of trying to like lean down, we get to see the action of one of the wings hitting like the side, like the portcullis or whatever, and like disheveling it, and of course causing it to kind of go haywire. And it's moments like that where you're like, right. It's just all these like, it's just these like tense moments where like, and it continues, and I love that because it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat during like these really intense moments where, because it is also technically a children's film, you don't see like, you never see outright death. It's rated PG, but like you never see, like they have guns and they start bow 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 firing guns, but you never, the closest you ever see someone getting shot is Pazu, who gets
bullet grazes his face.
Right. And that's it. That's the only blood in like the film, really. Other than that, like you just see like a bunch of like bow, bow, bow,
Right. Plenty of explosions.
Right.
No viscera.
No. Princess Mononoke.
Right.
You get that in that film. Yeah. So with the reason why I said all that was because it's not visceral like that, where you get that like, oh my god, someone's getting shot, or you know, or I think up until that point, the most violent things that had happened were they were laying into the robot.
Oh yeah,
or the dent in his chest. And at that point, the Goliath battleship in the sky like fires these artillery guns and like really like, you know, melt the guy, which is kind of unfortunate at that point.
Yeah, it sucks.
And that's about the most quote unquote graphic thing at that point. We're like, damn, they're really messing that guy up. But like, the reason why I was bringing all that up is because there's nothing really visceral like that. This tension of all these like, you know, all these little bitty things, these nuanced moments of, you know, ships, you know, getting all wonky, or you know, someone being hundreds of feet in the air, jumping and grabbing onto something and it falling apart, and you're like, oh, and he's like, dude,
fucking terrifying.
The tense moments of just like, yeah, we're just flying in the air and I'm jumping around.
At any point, if that shit happened, I'd seize up and just die, fall to my death.
There's so many moments in this film where I'm like, there's no way.
No, ain't gonna happen, bro.
Ain't gonna happen.
But he does it. Bravest kid I ever did see.
Oh yeah, hardest working boy I ever did see as well. Again, speaking of, whenever he ends up getting on the ship and they end up, you know, the pirate ship, and they end up getting Sheeta back, they're, you know, flying back, and they end up, you know, kind of all coming to the same conclusion that they're going to go try and find this La Puta, sorry. And you would talk about like, they're not even poor kid. He's not even on the he hasn't even figured out where he's staying.
One job to another.
He's going from one job to another. All the rest of the
when
pirates,
am I gonna get a break?
All the rest of the pirates are like, you know, they show Sheeta goes with
Dola.
Dola. The kind of like the pirate mom.
Right.
End up going into the room, like into like their kind of like main bridge area to like kind of get the lay of the land, to like know where to go.
Right.
And all the other, like, without even telling them where they're sleeping, what's going on, they immediately bring the boy to like the engine room where the quote unquote dad figure, the dad pirate, is, you know, underneath the floorboards working on the engine. And they're like, yeah, here's you know, here's dad.
Right.
You got to be careful because he's tougher than mom. And at this point in time, mom's pretty tough.
Right.
So you're like, oh.
Can only imagine.
But
he's totally just this chill dude.
Oh, yeah.
Who's working on the engine.
He's totally fine. He is 100% Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah. He's got
Dr. Eggman. Right. Yeah.
He's got the shades. He's got the mustache.
He's got that big, buff, like bushy Jesus. Mustache. He's got like kind of a round not disposition, like a
rotund.
Yeah, rotund figure.
Ball shaped.
Bald. And he's like, all right. And so he's just like, the first thing the guy says is like, pass me that crescent wrench.
Yeah. And then he says, name.
Yeah, name. And he's like, my hands are too big. I can't fit it in there. And he's like, all right, cool. Yeah. Name. Yeah, all right. Pazu. Nice to meet you.
Right.
It's like, damn, but dude, you're just getting put to work, dude. But hey.
It is what it is.
Good man.
Yeah.
Hard working. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah.
It's such a good...
Timeless.
It's such a good feeling. The whole movie. As we start getting to the conclusion here, like towards the very end,
right?
It has this. They have this thing called, what was it called? The Eye of the Dragon.
The dragon's lair.
The dragon's lair, and it's like this huge column of clouds that is kind of like protecting the castle in the sky.
Right.
La Puta. I keep thinking of Pazu and La Pazu, as I keep wanting to say. Anyways, this castle in the sky, and eventually are four different factions that are all making it in there. And the kind of culmination of it all is that I think his name,
Muska.
His name is he's the colonel, but they call him Muska. it comes out that he is another descendant of the family as well, and that's kind of the plot
Crux.
twist. And it's interesting because I love this aspect of whenever both Sheeta and Pazu are there, you get to really see the kind of the ruins aspect of it, where it's like falling down columns and trees and vines, and it just has this like
entire rooms blocked off by roots,
and it has this like beautiful, lush landscape, and it just feels so idyllic, and like there's flowers everywhere, and there's life and all that stuff.
The gigantic tree, the tree of life.
Yeah, exactly. In the middle of this thing.
We're just growing Yggdrasil up here.
100%. But then like you go, then it has this like stark contrast to whenever Muska?
Yeah.
Muska gets the stone and is able to get into like the inner workings of it all.
The cube room.
And it's like, so you have like this, like I said, this idyllic, beautiful, scenic landscape on top. And then there's like this kind of domed bottom.
Yeah.
Where like it's kind of what you'd imagine is holding all the magic, keeping this like lifted in the air. And as they go into it, it's so dark and cold.
Yeah.
And mechanical in a way. And it's so dead. It's so interesting. The like dichotomy of the two things.
Yeah.
And as they start making their way through, you get to see the inner workings of all this, and Muska ends up really making it. He ends up showing the full potential of it. And it basically is a super weapon.
Right. Or at least has the capabilities of one.
Yeah. And this is where I think the craters came from, in a way.
Maybe
is it's a little mini Death Star,
right?
Which isn't that great.
Yeah, you could take out a lot of continent with that. That gun.
And he ends up getting power hungry, and of course gets a little wild. His like very fake
his
maniacal
ulterior motives.
Yeah,
all for all to see.
Ends up like his little fake maniacal laugh ends up just making me sick. Just like
fucking oh god.
I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
And again, this is there are a couple other instances where it's like, oh my gosh, holy cow, like it's so aggressive or so whatever.
Yeah. Dude's fucking evil.
But this is the first time in the film where like he has this observation deck in the dome. Where like the kind of the laser portion like shot down and like kind of showed off the power of it all, and he's like, I'm tired of looking at your stupid face, and then like opens up the bottom, and I was like,
drops them all.
He just drops them all, and I was like, and that was like the general character,
and
I was like, he's dead,
damn,
and I was like,
I didn't like the guy, but damn,
yeah, I was like that. At that point, I was like, and it was a large group that didn't make it out, and I was like, oh shit, like that's straight up maniacal.
Just gone now.
They're just gone now.
Yeah.
And after some running around in the labyrinth of cuboid rooms,
right?
There's this lovely moment. It's so good because of the relationship that is developed between Sheeta and Pazu. There's this moment where Muska has a gun pointed at Sheeta and is like,
got the 6-shooter trained on these children.
There's this kind of like this triangle of needs where Pazu wants Sheeta. Pazu has the stone. Muska wants the stone. And it's like this kind of like, and he has Sheeta at gunpoint.
Right.
So it's like, okay. So there's this kind of like this workaround of like, we all know that Pazu has the stone, and he's talking about that he's hidden it. And if you kill her, I'll never tell you where it is.
Exactly.
So there's this whole dynamic of like, who's gonna do what? It's a real good, bad, and the ugly, if you will.
Yeah.
Of who has what and what goes where. And I loved it.
Right.
Because there's a moment where he's like,
just let me talk to Sheeta alone for a second.
And he's like, you got 3 minutes.
Like the biggest idiot on the planet goes, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And Pazu walks up to her is like, look, I need you to calm down and just listen to me for a second. Teach me that fucking destruction spell.
Please.
Take my hand. I got the stone.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna blow it up.
But it's also oh gosh, dude. In a film that talks about be a man, stand up, like do what you got to do. There's this, and I'm not saying that he ever showed signs of not doing that.
Right. That's how he is.
This is the kind of person that he is. And I think that's just one thing that is...
He's a good person.
It is one thing that is said and iterated a handful of times, maybe not directly towards him, but other characters of like just standing up and doing what you got to do.
Right. Dola especially.
100%. He ends up walking up to her like Dylan said, and of course she like just kind of instinctually runs up to him and just like gives him a hug and is like out of this just kind of like, I'm scared, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And again, like I said, it's just this pure feeling. And I love the way that he handles this moment.
Yeah.
Because it is exactly how I would handle a moment, or I think any adult would handle a moment like that, or at least I would hope. Is you have someone here that you care about that is scared and potentially panicking or has anxiety or whatever, and he knows exactly what to say.
Yep.
He walks up to her and is like,
here's the plan.
Here's the plan. I'm gonna need you.
This is what we're gonna do.
but none of that. But he also comforts her by saying, I also cut the ropes on all the pirates, and they've already gotten their way out of here.
Yep.
There's
just no need to worry.
It's just us here, and I need you to be here with me in this moment, and let's get this done.
Let's blow some shit up.
And she's like, all right. And it's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
It's teamwork. It's just like I've already taken care of the people that we care about. I've already gotten things taken care of. I'm here for you. I've got you. Let's get this done.
Right.
And it's like, oh, dude,
Primo.
way to go, dude. And that's what I'm saying is I because it's so, I don't know. It's so pure. It's so heartwarming, and it's great. And again, it's this. We don't know what the destruction spell does.
Right.
It's going to blow all of it up. Is it going to blow
just get rid of the
so
stone?
It's just this like self-sacrificing, like we got to do what we got to do, because if we don't, we know for a fact that this Muska guy is going to definitely
this ass hat right here
is going to destroy the world potentially.
4 eyes.
It's like, all right, we got to do what we got to do. And it's like, oh man, how sad.
Imagine letting the world end because of a nerd.
A freaking nerd. But in an interesting turn of events, just the bottom falls out.
Yeah.
The destruction spell detaches the domed bottom and lets the roots fly free.
Yeah, Iggy's too strong.
Yeah,
apparently.
You're right. Exactly. Hey,
Wayne knows what's up.
He knows what's up.
Right.
There's probably a very small percentage of people that got that.
I'm sure. I hope.
And then the core gym. Ramiel
is like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and just shoots straight up through the tree and ends up like I'm assuming ends up kind of embedding itself higher up in the roots and
right. That's probably why it's still able to float the way it does.
Of course, right. Still magical properties, but
because the funny thing is about that thing is that it makes that same like rhythmic noise.
Yeah,
just not in the like vocal sense that Ramiel does. But it's
right.
like the same thing.
Of course. And I love that. I was trying to see if there was any interesting like
fun facts.
Yeah.
I wonder.
This movie explores themes of friendship, bravery, and environmentalism. Not wrong.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Preserving nature and the consequences of human greed. Again, I would agree.
Yeah. Many such cases.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think I've seen
Slim Pickens. Oh well. I mean,
yeah, that's what it is.
Can't have them all.
I'm not saying this isn't. These aren't good, but they're all the things that I feel like we already knew about the film.
General things you could, like anybody could probably glean from the film.
Castle in the Sky was Hayao Miyazaki's first feature film as a director. It established him as a visionary filmmaker and laid the foundation for his later works. And this film also showcases a strong female protagonist, which I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Sheeta is resourceful, courageous, and determined, breaking traditional gender stereotypes of the time.
Give me a Dola any day, bro.
At first, she was a bitch. I didn't like her, but at the same time, I knew what she was.
She was about as reputable as a pirate could be.
You're right, and that's what I'm like for the character type. Like, I got it.
It works.
It works. But then later, I'm like,
you find out she's got a heart of gold.
You're right. I'm like, oh man, you're.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the correlation that they did. She has these braids that are very reminiscent of Sheeta's in a way, and you get to see this young picture of her in her room, of like back whenever she was kind of a young pirate in her days, and kind of and you see that picture well after she makes the comment of like, she reminds me so much of myself whenever I was her age. And I think she's gonna turn into a very strong woman one day. And it's like, oh, dude,
perfect.
And it's like, yeah, it's 100% true, because like I could definitely see there's a correlation. There's a character archetype that kind of feels the same way. So, anyways, it's very, very good.
I would agree. Oh man,
don't get too tired on me now.
I'm sorry, I'm fading.
I'm
losing it.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Dude.
I also, this is another one that we need to rewatch
I'll wait.
with the English dub. I was only going to say that.
No, I know, it's fine. Yeah, the dub's not bad.
Mark Hamill plays Muska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember his performance was okay. The only thing about it that weirded me out was that Pazu sounded way older.
James Vanderbeek?
Yeah. Like if you hear it, you'll know what I mean. But
okay.
But to get back to it, I was gonna say that I've been playing the shit.
Oh yeah.
Out of a little tactical RPG came out a few months ago called Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah.
And I've completely fallen down the hole for it.
Oh yeah. He's definitely sunk some hours into it. But
it's just so good.
It's a cool game.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting.
So much fun.
It blends the. I don't even know how you would say this. Like it blends the kind of vibe of Super Robot Wars.
Yeah.
With like, I guess some other like kind of
Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. Fire Emblem. I know games that are like it, but I didn't really know what. I never really played Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
But
that's the closest comparison I could make.
Interesting.
But it's fun, man.
I've watched you play probably a handful of hours of it, and it
feels like I'm not even like halfway through.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was also, like I said at the top of this episode, I was going to say I'm going to call out somebody specifically about something.
What was it?
On a previous episode, I had made a joke about reaching out to people about. I made the joke to you and Ethan about like if you have $8 to spend,
oh god,
go ahead and I think I worded it weirdly. I said I said if you guys have $8 to spend, go ahead and get the Command and Conquer collection and get all the old original Command and Conquer games.
Mm-hmm.
And Ethan misunderstood.
Oh no.
And thought that I was asking for the audience to contribute money towards me so I can get the game. And I was like, that's not what I meant. But I mean, if you guys also want to try and,
I'm not gonna.
If you guys want to chip in, that'd be great.
Oh,
and so I was going to say, with the help of one of our listeners, Toasty, he gave me 3 schmeckles and a crumpled up Digimon playing card. And I was able to turn that in.
Oh my god!
And Steam accepted it, and so now I have the entire, with his contribution and some from other people.
Right.
I've gotten
by some miracle
gotten the Command and Conquer collection, and I've played a couple of them. And man, you want to talk about a romp in the past, dude?
They're weird.
I like them,
but fun.
I like them, they are literally between that and what was the name of the game? Command and Conquer, specifically Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge.
And Renegade?
Renegade a little bit. I didn't play that until way later.
Oh, okay.
Red Alert 3 as well. I had a friend of mine who had like a big old box set of all the original CDs.
Damn.
The same collection that I just bought on Steam.
Right.
We had the whole collection in a box set, and I had that forever.
Wow. I was only ever exposed to Command and Conquer with some of the later games.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, a lot of the early like Red Alert ones are the only ones I really remember, just because of how fucking wacky they were.
Oh, it's so fun though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always a good time.
I'm trying to find this other RTS game that is so niche that that I don't think anybody really ever has played before.
I tell you what, that one is for me is Universe at War.
Really?
Yeah, feels like I'm the only person that knows about that game.
I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it though.
Yeah.
So the first RTS game I ever played was an old, like Windows 98 game called Aztec Wars.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was pretty fun from what I remember. I mean, does it hold up to any of the RTS standards now? Probably not.
Probably. Yeah. Who knows?
Then shortly after that, I got my hands on Command and Conquer, like the original one, and then like Red Alert. So I have a very special place in my heart for RTS games.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that I got those games now on Steam as well.
Sweet.
Another little heads up, I still haven't had the chance to go on to Helldivers 2 and get that last achievement.
Oh, yeah.
I want to really get some help to get that one because that's the last one I need to get it.
I got you.
And then over the course of this week, I had grinded out the last of those DLC quests, and I got the 3 words of the dragon aspect shout, which is the last one I needed, and I got all the achievements for Skyrim finally.
Nice.
Which which is the first game I've ever gotten.
Congratulations.
I've gotten all the achievements in that game, and that's the first game I ever did that with.
Damn.
And I was like, man, that actually kind of feels really good.
Now you see why Chase has not been able to stop with anything he's been playing.
I don't think I'm going to go as hard as Chase or even Ethan to some degree.
It's okay. You'll get there. Just take it at your own pace.
I don't think I want to. I want to keep a healthy distance from that.
You say that now.
I know.
It's going to happen.
But the thing is, I think that trigger will flip in me whenever I have like less than 10 achievements.
Yeah.
If I have a game that's got like 200 achievements, I mean, I may get to it eventually. I'm not going to sit here and grind through and get all of them. But for instance, like I really want to get Helldivers because I got 1 left.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
So close.
With Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, I want to say now that I got all the side quests, I've got like 4 achievements left.
Yep.
And I'm feeling that urge. Like I'm like, okay, I want to go ahead and wrap this up now.
Right.
And because again, they're not impossible. I can get them all done. I think I got what I would consider one of the hardest ones, which is like don't take any damage feeding Angraminyu.
Yeah.
On the chapter, whatever it is,
like 6.
No, the last one.
Oh, right.
Chapter 0 with a slash through it, or whatever it is, where you have to fight Angraminyu at the very end. It's like don't take any damage. It was super hard on ultimate difficulty. It's like, oh damn. I got that one done. I was like, nice.
Very good.
So now I just got to like grind through and get the, what are they called? Ascension weapons?
The Terminus weapons.
Terminus weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But anyways.
We'll get there.
Right. There's a handful of games I've gotten probably half the achievements in. I'm like, nah. Maybe I'll get them. Maybe I won't. It's fine.
Right. Who knows?
But like I said, the second I get down to like at least a handful or 2, I'm like, nah. Now I feel I feel the urge to get them done.
Yeah.
I had joked about potentially getting the achievements in Kingdom Hearts because the game has, or I think I have the whatever collections on Steam. I think it's both 1.5 and 2.5, so it has like the quote unquote achievements is like 200. And it has both Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Chain of Memories and all that stuff in it as well. So maybe as I play through, I'll get to that point.
Yeah.
If I get to the majority point and I've got a handful left. I'll be like, okay, time to lock in.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everyone's contributions to the show,
Mm-hmm.
helping us.
Schmeckles included.
Yeah, all the Schmeckles and Digimon cards included. For anybody, like I said at the top of the episode, that's trying to look for the video, it should be coming out later this evening if you're watching this, or if you're listening to this whenever it is, being released. Go ahead and check it out. Give it a like. Let us know let us know how we did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously,
if you so choose.
Not like, obviously, gameplay wise, you can critique their gameplay all you want. But for me, like, let me know like how you think about the kind of the format and stuff. Because I think we're gonna try and do the second one.
Yeah,
we're gonna try and play through most of them. And
just trying to get a feel for it.
Ethan, I'm not sure if this is gonna be locked in stone yet. I know we talked about it, but I think the first thing he really wants to try and knock his way through is the original Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
He wants to start Legend of Zelda and just go from stem to stern.
Mm-hmm.
Which, hey, more power to him.
I'm ready.
That may be one of our bigger series coming up. So keep on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, go to the search bar, type in @HindsightStudios, or you can do /@HindsightStudios and find us that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can type in Aftermath on the major podcasting platforms and find us there as well.
Right.
Give it a like, give it a comment, talk to us, let us know how we're doing. Mm-hmm. How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well.
Uh-huh.
I made that joke as we were playing the game. I'll go ahead and tease that a little bit. As they were playing, I was like, how are you guys doing? And they're like, I was like, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience. Because I was just sitting there keeping tally. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See you.
Bye-bye.